Hey, what is going on YouTube? Aaron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. And in today's video, we have a Chad replay in the Burgoyne here. She, to me, is probably the best legendary tier battleship. I know, of course, the Colombo sits atop many lists, including the beloved spreadsheet from Wargaming. And of course, the Colombo will probably be getting a nerf soon, but I think the Burgoyne is also up there in terms of battle effectiveness. She does lack a little bit in terms of the accuracy department, but with 12 overall guns, a short reload, and that reload booster, you can send a massive volley of effective AP and devastating HE at pretty much any target you need to. I've been saving this replay for a couple months now, and I figured with the video in the Georgia the other day, I wanted to put up a pretty gnarly replay in return and show you guys what happens when everything does go your way and you put your ship in the right position. Now, I would like to note this was before the carrier rework, so keep that in mind. The carrier was spotting us and we were detectable to all other surface ships, and before carriers were kind of broken in their plane restoration rate, but we won't really mention that anymore. However, we did put our Burgoyne here in a central location. We are angling out. I've mentioned it so many times, but I'll mention it again. This defensive kiting position just allows you a little bit more maneuverability and, position availability in case you do get rushed or you need to get your ship out of a bad situation. On top of that, it allows you to angle while keeping all of your guns on target. We took a shot at that Marco Polo who was spotted behind that island, and a good little 12 to 15k off of him without becoming detected. Anytime you can take those salvos, you absolutely should. And here, guys, is a truly hilarious situation. I posted this YouTube short a little while back. It looks like this Petro was trying to turn out. Now, this first salvo, I didn't really predict that well. He started to back up, but sometimes when you're kind of caught on another ship, it doesn't allow you to, but we went ahead and popped our reload booster, and yeah, he is... This Petro is not in a good position. Broadside in a Russian cruiser is never a good day, and he is about to find out why I love this ship so much. 1, 2, good night, thanks for playing. Dev strike on that guy. I put that, like I said, as a YouTube short a little while back. I would be so mad at that Marco for turning in. Sometimes players just don't pay attention to their position. But speaking of paying attention, this Schlieffen is pushing pretty aggressively into A, and we have a decent crossfire on him. We used the end of our reload booster there to get another decent salvo. We went ahead and switched to the HE to try and break a few of his secondaries and potentially his torpedo tubes. But paying attention to the minimap is going to allow you much more opportunity. As we noticed that he was pushing in, we want to defend our flank. He does potentially have our broadside, so paying attention to those target transitions is going to help you not only increase your survivability, but also your damage output. Unfortunately, Bravo connects a few torpedoes and we don't get the finishing kill on him, but it doesn't matter because that is now 2 ships eliminated, and we are in pretty decent control of this game. That is until you look up at the capture points. The enemy is pushed rather aggressively on C, and we don't hold any capture points of our own. So if we can get the elimination on Mishima, that would help tremendously as Bravo could push into A. Here is a fairly well-led shot. We connect 2 overpens. However, judging those salvos and those shots is always rather difficult as we unfortunately only connect 1 overpen on that final one. But anytime, as I've mentioned so much in the past, anytime you can take those shots on destroyers, even at long ranges, you should, because 1 to 2 overpens from a battleship is worth 1 to 2,000 damage, depending, of course, on the ship you're in. And that is just damage. Let's just say you have 2 identical ships, both sit broadside to each other, both with average RNG, and they're just simply trading, which unfortunately is a lot of the circumstances in this game. Players don't, know how to angle or use AP or whatever. If you can get 1 or 2 salvos off of that enemy destroyer, you are going to help your potato teammate win that engagement. And of course, in this situation, my potato teammate was none other than Bravo Foxtrot himself. Now, he's a great player, one of the best destroyer players in this game. He's always just paying attention to what the team needs, a true team player. I really like Bravo. He's a good friend. I would never admit that to him in real life, though, and I'm actually going to block him from viewing this video, so nobody clip that and send it to him. But in the meantime here, we have a Marco Polo in this central location. And of course, as soon as I shoot at him, the Mino pops up and my reload booster is not quite ready. As we're going around this island, I'm going to be honest, and you guys let me know what you think after we connect a few salvos on this Mino. Was this Mino not the luckiest player to ever play the Mino? Just pay attention to a few of the salvos that we get on him in a moment here. However, I want you to also pay attention to the scoreboard, as despite eliminating a ship with a dev strike and getting a few other eliminations on some approaching ships, our team has managed to tie up this game and actually put us down in terms of overall ships and capture points. There is one of those salvos that I was talking about. A few overpens, one Citadel. That's a decent salvo on a turning Mino, but again, pay attention just to a few of them here. However, we do have a broadside Marco Polo and Alaska approaching us from the north here, from this central location near Bravo. Now, unfortunately, I had the HE loaded as I thought he was going to bow tank me, but it looks like he's broadside, so we're going to go ahead and switch to the AP here. We're trying to reset him, as we do. We get a fire and 4 resets there, so good on us for defending our cap. But in the meantime, I want you guys to look at our position. I feel like I've played this game rather passive, as I've barely moved from spawn, but then you look at our team, and yes, we do have a few teammates over there at the Alpha cap, and they have won their side. All of our ships are dead at C, and the only other battleship is kind of behind me here at B. I can understand battleship players not wanting to be too aggressive, especially in ships that are not necessarily designed for being overall aggressive. However, you can't sit at the back of the map and expect to win or even have an impact on the game. I don't know why battleship players don't want to get their paint scratched, but here we're definitely going to apply that principle and get our paint scratched rather significantly. Again, we launch a pretty long-range salvo on this Mino, and yeah, they all miss except for one penetration, and that penetration was dangerously close to the massive Citadel that the Mino contains. But it doesn't matter because we have an approaching Alaska. Now, I'm not exactly sure what this Alaska was focused on. It could have been the ships at Alpha. When life gives you lemons, you take that advantage and pop your reload booster once again. However, he does decide to angle up just a little bit. He is shooting HE in this situation. He does catch us on fire, and unfortunately he does angle up back at us well, so we probably should have switched to the HE in this situation. However, we still had our back turret on reload. He did shoot the HE before, however, he does switch to the AP here, so I have to angle up a little bit. And talking about utilizing your health in a battleship, I give a lot of my health away in this particular situation, more than I really would have liked. However, again, we talk about our other ships still alive. They're not really doing anything except for sitting in the back. So if, you know, the situation calls for it, you got to use your health, and our team wasn't doing it. We need caps, we need kills, and we need position. And to me, this was one of the best positions in the game, given the circumstances. You can see we are kind of being farmed from all sides. And unfortunately, there is a carrier in the game, but as we mentioned, this was before the rework, so carriers weren't too devastating at the time. However, he does get a pretty good torpedo drop off on me, as we notice that this Mino once again escapes with just everything. We go all the way down to 3,000 health there. We do have our heal popped, however, it only gets us up to 5,300. And we're in a tough situation here. We've got none other than Johnny Papaya working his way in on the Schlieffen. We have a Zhao to our left at full health out there. It's always fascinating to me to be in such an intense match and then look up and see the enemy flank, which kind of eviscerated your side, is just full health. I will never understand that. If you're going to go down swinging, you know, do something on your flank to help your team. But yeah, sometimes it be like that, and it doesn't allow for, well, some pretty gnarly games like the ones in this particular instance. It does work in our favor, though, as we are going to slowly back up here, and this Zhao is kind of focused on our full health Musashi in the back of the map. And we're going to get a pretty good little broadside on him. He does turn in just a little bit, and unfortunately we do get spotted. However, he decides to turn back out, and oh, do we going to get 2? Almost. 1 Citadel, 2 penetrations there, and I think a Citadel counts as one of those penetrations, and 3 overpens. In the meantime, though, we do have to maneuver away from these planes and away from this Mino. We get our heal back with 900 health. This Mino has a favorite target in mind, and it is me. And I thought at this point, you know what, the carrier's coming in. However, Bravo pops his defensive AA, and he was like Doris Miller at Pearl Harbor there, man. He was just... And as a result of his efforts, we are alive with just under 10,000 health thanks to our last heal. And then look who it is, none other than Johnny Papaya trying to get a little piece as well. He takes a shot, but because of our angling, he only gets 1 penetration for 2,000 damage there. So we're still living, and because our teammate had all of his health, he is able to finally eliminate that Zhao, who we took most of the health from. So with some decent positioning, some teamwork, and just kind of, you know, getting your ship in the fight, we now have a Dev Strike, a Confederate, a High Caliber, and a huge chance and opportunity to win this game. If you kind of notice me looking back and pinging our 2 other Yamato-class battleships, I'm like, guys, why did I have to use all but 7,000 of my health, and they have nothing gone except for a few scratches of their paint? But again, that's how Legends is going to go. You have some good nights, you have some bad nights, but it's games like these which we all just kind of live for. I'm sitting here in the cap trying to get that. Our carrier actually did drop some fighters, and this carrier was trying to drop over islands, but we're going to go ahead and reverse here. And thanks to the help from Bravo and those fighters, we were able to defend from that attack. A little bit of a selfish play in this situation, however, up 200 points and having 2 caps to their 1. I was getting a little bit greedy and I wanted more from this Mino. We connect another Citadel on the auto-aim shot over the island there. He gets a whiff of our location. He throws a few shells, however, we are kind of moving out of the way. And again, just talking about how long this guy has lived, and I feel like how long I wouldn't have lived. We take another kind of, you know, blind fire over the islands there using auto-aim to guide us. When you are taking these shots, you want to lead them well over the target. Auto-aim, while it does give you a good reference point, it does not directly lead all targets, and with ships with higher shell velocities or lower shell velocities, the point of reference of aim is going to change drastically. On top of that, you have to keep in mind what ship you are shooting at. For example, the Kleber or faster destroyers are going to need a lot more lead than other slower moving battleships and or cruisers. That Mino did go down eventually though, unfortunately not to us, but however, with our bravery and of course some teamwork from Bravo there, I hope you guys enjoyed that clip, I thought it was funny. We managed a pretty good damage total and a lot of ribbons there. We look like a North Korean general. I want you guys to guess the XP total. 7 defends, 1 solo capture there, 2 kills, Confederate high caliber, Dev Strike, and 18 aircraft so far shot down. I'm going to let this one finish out a little bit on the faster speed here, but yeah, a pretty good game, if I do say so myself, and you guys have a great day. Love you guys. Remember D-Day, a lot of sacrifices were made today, so we often forget. But yeah, you guys have a good one. Love you guys. See you later. I'm out. Peace.